Welcome back. So, after I finished the last episode on the DTCC and the SEC no action letter, I sat with it for a while and I realized something. I didn't actually land the plane in the way that I wanted. Not because the information was wrong, but because I didn't clearly bring it back to the why that I'm here. I'm not making these videos to explain institutions just for the sake of it. I'm using XRP as a lens to understand blockchain itself. And by staying with that lens, I keep running into the financial system itself. So if I don't connect these dots, then the work loses its center. And I lose a little bit of sleep. And the work turns into something that it was never designed to be. For the last couple weeks, I kept feeling like I need to swim back to shore, like I got too far away from XRP. But the truth is, the reason that we're focusing on geopolitics, on regulation, on people that are affected and use this layer one, is because in my eyes, these are the hurdles, the obstacles, the checks and balance that need to take place in order for XRP to do what it needs to do. And as long as I've watched XRP, I've waited for those moon dates to occur. Something kept disappointing me. Expectation didn't meet reality. And so it felt beneficial to dig deeper rather than dig wider. So, for me and what I think, the DTCC doesn't care about crypto narratives. It doesn't care about price, and it doesn't speculate. Its job is simple. Make sure value moves safely and settles correctly at massive scale. That's exactly where XRP becomes relevant. Tokenization moves assets onto digital rails. But tokenization alone doesn't finish anything. Once assets move, something still has to settle them across institutions, across borders, inside of regulations. That's the gap XRP was designed to sit in. And as much as I want XRP to win, for prices to shoot to all-time highs, I would love this. There's something calming about realizing that institutions and banks using this part of blockchain technology, tokenization, it's not like digging a hole that leads nowhere. This is just a doorway to head into blockchain and Web3. A useful doorway. A doorway that's able to be regulated. And so this is where I think we are. And so the DTCC testing tokenization doesn't move XRP's price today. What it does is normalize a world where assets are digital, always on, and moving faster. In that world, settlement becomes the bottleneck. And settlement is XRP's entire reason for existing. That's why this feels slow and sometimes frustrating, because infrastructure always moves before outcomes. Pipes get built before water flows. This is an analogy that I can get behind, that I can understand. You would never build a new house or the foundation for one and start running the water before the pipes are ran. You would mess up everything, you would flood the foundation, and it would just create confusion and more work down the road. This is where we are with this new system. And following XRP has not made me rich by any means, but it has made me pay attention to how money actually moves. And that's led me to places most people never think about. I mean, why would we think about? We never think about these things until they actually break. And our lives are so bogged down with family issues, work, dreams, relationships, social media, family, everything. There's so many things that happen in our sphere that focusing on these things seems mundane, maybe even irresponsible. But I do challenge that irresponsibility because if the change is happening for our financial systems, what would happen if we knew about it? If we were positioned to benefit as the change took place? So this episode isn't about convincing anyone of anything. It's about clarity. The DTCC moving towards tokenization matters for XRP, not because it's loud, but because it brings the system closer to needing exactly what XRP was built to do. If you're here for the kind of understanding that I choose to bring, it's not hype, it's not predictions, it's not even mentoring or trying to get you to do anything. It's simply information for you to use, for you to translate yourself, for you to assemble into your own puzzle piece. I truly believe we're sitting inside of one of the biggest transformations that our global sphere has ever seen. As I go on this journey, it includes learning. It includes making another video and adding on to make sure that the thought is succinct. It includes reading your comments. And it includes being honest with myself and reality. Not chasing hope to chase hope, but to chase reality because that is where I live. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. And if you enjoy this type of content, please like, subscribe, send it to someone else. And until the next episode, this is James Harris, and you're at Layer 1. Thanks so much. See you next time.